What is up, everyone? It is the first installment of Capital Region Sports Saturday. I'm your host, Brady Farkas. This show brought to you by Mohawk Honda, where at Mohawk Honda, they go out of their way to please you. This show, we are happy to be here, getting a few minute late head start here. Bottom line is this show came to conception because we're passionate about local sports. We want to connect the listener here to local athletics, and we want to bring you, the listener, the great stories in local athletics. We're going to talk everything on this show, from last night's box scores to local broadcasters we'll hear from, local analysts, and we'll reconnect the area fans with Albany area natives who are on to the next levels. And one of those Albany area natives will join us here in 30 seconds. J.P. Sportman, the LaSalle High School graduate, won the Texas League Championship yesterday with the Midland Rockhounds. The Midland Rockhounds, the Oakland A's AA affiliate. Sportman, his first full professional year after being drafted in 2014, had a great year but overcame some injuries, and J.P. Sportman joins us now on the phone. Again, Capital Region Sports Saturday brought to you by Mohawk Honda. J.P., you win the Texas League Championship last night, but you thought your season was over when you were at the high A level with the Stockton Ports when your season ended there. What were the emotions like when you found out you were moving on to AA?
It was pretty surprising, actually. It was after we lost in Stockton, and I was packing all my stuff, getting ready to fly home the next morning, and Coach called me into the office and told me I was going to Texas. So it was a pretty surprising moment, but at the same time, it was pretty cool, and I was pumped to be able to head over here.
How is the game different at the AA level? What have you seen? What have you noticed? Is the preparation different? Just how quick does the game move up there?
It's definitely faster. You weed out all the best players are here. Definitely, a totally different game. The pitching is better, the hitting is better, and the overall game is it's complete, and it's a step away from the big leagues, and it's definitely noticeable.
JP, you had a good year statistically with the Stockton Ports. You hit 292. You hit 298 for the year total cumulative between your rehab assignment with the A's rookie league team and Stockton. You were on the DL twice and forced to rehab. What would you say this year was like? Was it frustrating? How was it for you?
It was definitely mentally grind. Just going and re-injuring my hand, twice was definitely a mental game for me. But I kind of just tried to, battle through it and, deal with what was ahead of me. And, I worked hard, and, ultimately I'm at where I want to be, and that stuff's in the past, and hopefully, it doesn't occur again.
Obviously, you are playing again. Are you fully healthy now? Are you 100%, or are you never 100% at this point?
No, I'm 100%. I'm ready to go. But, the rest of the off season is going to help a lot also.
What is it going to be like for you in the off season? Do the A's have a plan for you? Do you get to kind of figure out your own system? Are you going to take 2 weeks off, a month off, or do they tell you what you're required to do?
No, they don't really tell me what I'm required to do, but I'm going to take close to a month or so off just to give my hands some time to heal, and then, get back to it. I know the A's are, want me to get some rest, just to let it heal and stuff like that. So, probably closer to a month off, and then start getting back into my routine and stuff like that.
We hear all the time from guys who are going into pro ball or spending their first full year in pro ball about what the adjustments are like and the grind of playing every day and preparing every day. Throw in the fact that you were 3,000 miles away playing out in the Cal League. Was that a challenge for you at all, being so far away from home?
Not really. I kind of like being away from home, but I guess there's some challenges that come along with it. I only got to see my family once. They got to come out for a week or so. I mean, that's probably the only tough part about it, is being away from, your family. But the adjustment, it's part of the lifestyle that I want to be a part of, and, you get used to it.
The Cal League, notorious hitters' ballparks out there due to the high temperatures and everything. Just how much does the ball jump out there? You're an outfielder, so you would know. How far are these balls going out in the Cal League?
Yeah, they jump pretty well. A lot of the fields are bang boxes, the ball travels real well there. There is some stadiums that are, graveyards where the ball doesn't go out much, but for the most part, a lot of the home run numbers are going to be up there.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number one volume dealer in the Capital Region. Talking with J.P. Sportman, LaSalle High School graduate, Oakland A's farmhand. J.P., we asked you this right before you went to spring training. We're going to ask you it again now. What's it like for you to be a part of this Capital Region fraternity of pro ball players? You guys put up a great year collectively. Jamie Schultz led the Southern League in strikeouts playing in the Rays system. Matt Gage got to AA. Justin Brantley had a great year. A lot of great years from Capital Region guys. How cool is that for you?
It's awesome. It's not every day that you can say, there's a bunch of guys from our region in pro ball, but I'm just, glad to be a part of that little fraternity of guys who are in pro ball. Hopefully everybody can move their way up and ultimately all get to the same level, what we're working for.
JP Sportman joining us on Capital Region Sports Saturday. Called up to AA right before the Texas League Championship, getting a chance to see how the game moves at the next level of the professional baseball ladder. JP, continue success. Stay healthy. Best of luck. A lot of people here back home in the Capital Region very curious about the next moves in your career. They've been following you all along. Again, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Appreciate it. There
he goes, JP Sportman, LaSalle High School graduate, just won the Texas League Championship yesterday with the Midland Rockhounds AA affiliate of the Oakland A's. While LaSalle winning on the baseball diamond, also winning on the football field last night, 34-27. They beat Bethlehem. Jack Feld for the Cadets throws for 181 yards and 3 touchdowns. Bethlehem actually overcame a 21-point deficit in that game, but could not overcome LaSalle in the end. Our game of the week last night was Shen and CBA. Shen, the 48-28 winners. They get 22 carries for 126 yards from Carl Fiore. He added 3 touchdowns. It's a big win for the Plainsmen, who started off the year 0-2. They're the reigning Section 2 champions, so important for Shen to get off the schneid. Again, that was our high school football social media fan battle on Twitter at 1045 The Team. Each Monday we pick out a game of the week as a station. At 8:45 a.m. and 5:45 p.m., you'll have a chance to favorite for one team or retweet for another team. And Armin Levac will wear the winning colors on Friday's show. So yesterday they were in green as the Shen fans got the win, and then the Plainsmen got the win on the field. Albany basketball released its 2015 schedule earlier this week. I'm not a fan. I'll tell you why next.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday with Brady Farkas, sponsored by Mohawk Honda.
We are back here, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. I am Brady Farkas. We're going to do this every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m., talking all things local sports. We just went over some of the high school football scores from last night. We'll get to more of them here in a moment. But the thing that I'm the most hot on this week, Albany basketball, I know we're 2 months away from the first tip-off here, just inside 2 months, actually. They released their full schedule this week. Now, we knew what the Danes' non-conference schedule looked like for a while now. We know they're going to open up at Kentucky on November 16th. We know they're going to play Division III Oneonta early on in the season as well, that game at home at Sefcu Arena. But they released the full schedule, and what they do when the conference releases a schedule, this is what I'm not a fan of. Conference play starts right after New Year's. It starts on January 6th. The Danes are obviously the 3-time reigning America East champions. Are looking for their 4th straight trip to the NCAA tournament. They lose last year to Oklahoma. The Danes have a great team coming back this year. They're very, very senior-laden, a lot of upperclassmen experience. They've got a great recruit and local kid, Joe Cremo, coming in from Scotia. The thing I don't like about the conference schedule when it comes out is, so it starts on January 6th. They're not going to get back-to-back conference home games until February 14th and 17th. So you're talking about more than a month in which the Danes do not get back-to-back games in front of their home crowd, in front of their home fans. And not only do you not get the fluidity and the continuity of being able to just stay in one place for very long, you don't get to play in front of your fans and kind of continue to build that fan base, that's a lot of travel. Remember, the term is student athlete. And so by being a student athlete, the Danes are going to be constantly traveling. People don't understand the kind of effect that has in terms of just staying on top of your schoolwork, in terms of tutoring, in terms of missing class, in terms of missing assignments, in terms of just when you're gone all weekend or when you're gone for a long weeknight game, that has a lot of effect on the Danes, and it will have a big effect on the Danes, I think. Now, we're going to talk to Zach By, the UAlbany broadcaster, basketball and football. We're going to talk to him later in the show about the Danes' upcoming football matchup today with James Madison, but he joined me earlier in the week to talk about this issue as well. He's actually a fan of the schedule. I
like the fact that, you're going to cause a little bit of chaos during the season and just a lack of consistency. But the one thing I will say is, the first time that they do play back-to-back home games, they play 3 of their last 4 games of the regular season at home. And obviously you want your team to be playing their best basketball and peaking during that time of year. I think it does help that, you're going to be put through the fire in the regular season, and you're going to finish it with 3 of your last 4 games at home and try to go into the conference tournament on the right foot. But the bottom line is, it doesn't matter where you play. The guys that Will Brown has back this year are tried and true.
Well, that's very true. That was Zach Bayou, Albany basketball and football broadcaster, with us here on Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda here on 104.5 The Team and 104.5theteam.com. The guys that Will Brown has and the guys Will Brown is going to rely on this year, they are tried and true. And so, look, Zach Bayou, he's got a good point in that it's great that at the end of the year when you want to be playing your best basketball, you're going to be in a position to have played 3 out of 4 at home. So that's good right as you go into the America East tournament to build that momentum. And I guess I'd rather have home games at the end of the season when it really counts going into the conference tournament than I would at the beginning of the year. And he is right as well in that by going through the fire early and being able to overcome that early season adversity that every team inevitably goes through, you're going to be able to build that team chemistry up. And going on the road is a great way to do that. You're playing in hostile environments. Hartford's going to want to beat you, Albany. We know Stony Brook's going to want to beat you, Albany. Vermont's going to have it out for you, Albany. You, Albany, is the top dog, no pun intended, for the Danes. They have been for the last 3 years, looking for it for the fourth. But I'm just not a fan of the excess travel that the Great Danes are going to have throughout this season. They don't get back-to-back home games in the league until February 14th and 17th. They will finish with 3 of their last 4 at home as well. Zach Bayou also said, here's another reason why it didn't matter. He says, look, the Danes are good enough. They can beat anyone. They're expected to win.
I think they have the capability, and it's almost the expectation for them to win anywhere in the league, name the location, and I think you roll the balls out, and this team can beat anyone in the America East.
Well, they definitely can beat anyone in the America East. We saw it last year. Remember, you Albany started out 10 or 11-0 in conference play, and they're going to bring back that group that's going to have Peter Hooley, that's going to have Evan Singletary, who's the best point guard, along with Carson Purifoy. But I think Singletary's better in the America East Conference. Purifoy is obviously the point guard for Stony Brook. But I think Singletary is an unbelievable player. I think Albany is lucky to have him. And we've heard Zach Bayou say that he thinks that he's the best point guard Albany's had since Jamar Wilson, who is really among the guys who's the best players in Albany history. So that's high praise as well. The Danes, again, will open up their season November 16th. They'll play at Kentucky, and that's a great experience for them as well. High school football last night here, Capital Region Sports Saturday with your host, Brady Farkas, 104.5 The Team, 104.5theteam.com. This show brought to you by Mohawk Honda. Saratoga and Guilderland had been a matchup of undefeated teams going into last night. Saratoga rolls the Dutchman 40-7, a big win for the Blue Streaks, and that will set up a matchup next weekend with arch rival Shen. We talked about the Plainsmen getting their first win of the season last night. So the winner of that game is going to have a lot to say here and how the final standings shake out in Class AA. Shen, obviously the reigning Class AA Section 2 champions, but Saratoga hot on their heels in this season, undefeated after a big win last night. Another good game last night. Lansingburg rushes for 250 yards. They get 250 on the ground. They beat Hudson 21-18. Albany takes on James Madison this afternoon. We'll bring Zach Bayou on again to talk about the game later. So let's learn a little bit more about the Great Danes signal caller. Albany graduated Will Fiacchi last season. The fifth-year senior was integral in helping Greg Gattuso get his message out in his first season as head coach. Fiacchi is gone, so the Danes really had to find a new place to turn, and they did that by going out and finding DJ Crook. DJ Crook transferred in from Penn State, a major Division I power, a major player in the Big Ten Conference. So DJ Crook is now joining us here, 104.5 The Team, 104.5theteam.com, Capital Region Sports Saturday. DJ, you guys are taking on James Madison, so we won't keep you on here long. What brought you from Penn State to you?
You know, I was contacting a bunch of schools, and Coach Gattuso gave me an opportunity. I was really interested in it, and you know, I went for it, and I'm really glad I did.
You come in, you earn the starting job. Was it hard to come in and establish that trust and respect as the starter right away and develop that leadership? Did it take time?
Oh, it definitely takes time. You know, when you're the new kid on the block, you know, it's not like you're coming in as a freshman. You're a transfer, so you've already, seen one place. But you got to earn the respect from the team, the staff definitely, You know, they're putting a lot down on the table for you. You know, it was a matter of me showing up and then competing right away. And, I was going into it like that, and I'm glad things worked out.
You threw 9 passes last year at Penn State, but you were practicing against a top-flight, FBS defense every single time you took the practice field. How did that experience prepare you for being the starter here at UAlbany?
I saw a lot of playmakers Penn State's defense was like 3rd in the country last year, So I was running scout team a lot. We weren't running like straight offense, but it definitely got me looks and seeing how, defenses play. That's really a huge thing about being a quarterback. So I'm glad I got to experience that, before I came here.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday on the phone with UAlbany quarterback DJ Crook, talking about what attracted him to UAlbany, the transfer in from Penn State. The Danes set to take on James Madison this afternoon at 3 p.m. down in Virginia. We're going to talk later in the show with UAlbany football broadcaster Zach By about that matchup. For now, DJ, best of luck. Thanks for being with us, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thank you.
Again, DJ Crook with us on the phone here, Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda. I'm your host, Brady Farkas. We told Crook we wouldn't keep him long. He's got a big game today as the Danes take on the James Madison Dukes in what is a major early season test for UAlbany. Bottom line for the Great Danes is it's great to have DJ Crook under center for them and in the shotgun. Great to have DJ Crook as that signal caller. Greg Gattuso really struck gold here. Not only does he get a quarterback that saw the way college football is played at the highest levels. He got a guy who participated in some game action there. Look, 9 passes is 9 passes. He played against Temple, threw a touchdown. So he faced a division, he faced Division I competition every single day in practice and outside. He backed up Christian Hackenberg. Christian Hackenberg could be the guy who's the number 1 pick in the NFL draft this season. So not only did he get a chance to play against top flight defenses in practice, he got a chance to learn from potentially the best quarterback in the NCAA this year. This is a win-win for Greg Gattuso, and Crook is just a sophomore. So the bottom line is he's going to have him for the next 2 years after this as Greg Gattuso tries to get UAlbany to that next level, to that elite program that he wants it to become. Capital Region Sports Saturday with your host, Brady Farkas, brought to you by Mohawk Honda here on 104.5 The Team and 104.5theteam.com. Look, Mohawk Honda is the reason why this show is possible. They strive for perfection every day. They have over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles available to select from. They're open extended hours in all of their departments to better service you. You can shop over 10 acres of savings opportunities or online 24/7 at MohawkHonda.com. And they'll provide you with the lowest no-hassle prices to suit your budget. At Mohawk Honda, they have over 180 trained automotive experts going above and beyond to make sure all of your needs are met. And ask them about their Mohawk Honda exchange program. Their exchange specialists can assist you in upgrading your current vehicle to a newer one with no money down for the same or a lower payment. Please ask for Tiffany, Katie, or V-Day to see just how easy it is to exchange your vehicle for the same or lower payment. Shop their convenient Route 50 in Glenville location to join the #1 automotive family at Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you. This local native played against Jameis Winston in college. He now plays with him in Tampa. What makes Jameis Winston such a good leader? He tells us next.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday with Brady Farkas, sponsored by Mohawk Honda.
Capital Region Sports Saturday, again, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. I am Brady Farkas, taking you home for the next half hour here at 104.5 and 104.5theteam.com. We talked earlier with LaSalle graduate J.P. Sportman, one of several Capital Region baseball players who had a great professional year this season. Well, you know what? It doesn't just extend to baseball. We're talking now on the phone with Josh Keyes, Chatham High School graduate, who has played against Jameis Winston. He's played with Jameis Winston. We want to find out what Jameis Winston's really like. Josh Keyes, Chatham High School alumni, with us right now. Saturday brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. Joining us on the phone is Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker Josh Keyes. Josh Keyes, a Chatham High School graduate. Josh, take us through the wave of emotions. What was it like? You go through training camp. You have a good training camp by all accounts. You get close to making the final roster. You're left off the final roster, but Tampa Bay signs you a few days later to the practice squad. What's that wave of emotions like?
I got cut on that Saturday, I believe. I sat there and I waited to hear back from them because they said that they may sign me back to the practice squad, and they did on Sunday. So to be able to hear the news that that I was still back there and I was still on the team was great news, and I was just very happy to hear that and to be able to move on and play with the Bucks.
What is life on the practice squad like? We hear a lot of stories about minor league baseball and how different that is than the major leagues. Is that the same case with life on the practice squad? Are you still going to the same meetings as the Buccaneers, quote, regulars? Are you watching film after games? What's that like?
Yeah, so the practice squad is basically the same as the active roster. So you still go to all the same meetings and stuff. You go out to practice and you do all the drills and stuff, and you just service the offense, with plays and stuff like that. So it's basically the same thing.
A guy that you got to see up close and personal throughout training camp, and you still get to see him out in the practice squad now, is number 1 overall pick, Jameis Winston. It wasn't Jameis Winston's best performance in the opener against the Titans. Obviously, the Buccaneers lose to Tennessee, but you saw him every day. How good can this kid be?
I played Jameis twice in college. I played him my junior and senior year, and we both, played Florida State pretty tight both times, and he's a great player. He knows how to win. He loves the game, and he's just a great guy to be around and see that he's a winner, and he's a great football player. The sky is the limit for that kid. He's so talented.
What kind of leader is he on the field? That was one of the things that even as a young player at Florida State really struck people was his leadership. And how is it now he comes in as a rookie and he's trying to take over, really the entire franchise and become the face of the franchise? How is he as a leader in the locker room?
The kid knows how to win games, and he loves the game. So even the first day, he just came in, and he's been a great leader for his entire team. Everybody believes in him, and so far he's done a great job for us.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number 1 volume dealer in the Capital Region, talking with Chatham High School graduate Josh Keyes, practice squad linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Josh, as a defensive player, you get a chance to work with Lovie Smith. Smith, known as one of the best defensive minds around. What is that like for you? How much of a blessing is that?
Coach Smith is a great coach. He's a player's coach, so he's always helping us out. He's always coaching us up and telling us how to do certain things, and he's always rooting us on, so he's just a great coach to have.
The Capital Region doesn't get a lot of notoriety for getting professional athletes. In football, though, right now we've got Joe Villano, who wins a Super Bowl with the Patriots last year, is back on the Pats practice squad. We've got Dion Lewis, who's a starting running back right now for the Patriots, really tore it up in Week 1. We've got yourself. What is that like to be a part of this really small Capital Region fraternity making it here at the NFL?
It's really a blessing, Not many of us have been able to go on and play pro. It's just a true blessing, because only I think it's 0.1% of players that play in college, whatever it is, play pro. So to be able to be part of that is just a complete honor, and a testament to our hard work and to God who's given us these talents. Forget
just the Capital Region as a whole and forget football as a whole. Really, the whole lower Hudson-Chatham area, the Patroon Conference up here, Section 2, is also killing it. We've got yourself in the NFL. You've got Justin Brantley, who just finished a great season in single-A baseball for the Cleveland Indians organization. You've got Jamie Schultz from Maple Hill, who is going to be in the major leagues at some point within the next year or two. So that's a small area out of here in Section 2 really carving its niche in pro sports. How cool is that to see?
It's really cool, I grew up playing basketball with Justin and stuff, so I know him pretty well, and he's always been a hard worker, and it's pretty cool to see us both doing so well.
You were a running back and a safety in high school, tore it up at Chatham, had over 2,000 yards rushing your junior year, were great in the defensive backfield. You go to Boston College, you start out as a safety, a coaching change moves you to linebacker. Were you okay with that change to linebacker at first, or were you a little hesitant?
To be honest, my first few days playing linebacker were kind of a rough experience. I wasn't used to the run fits and the physicality of the play. If I'm playing on the back end, but so far it's really helped me out. I was able to start my senior year of college, and I was able to make enough plays to be able to have a chance to play professionally, and I was able to then get the call from the Bucs and to be signed onto the practice squad. So it's been a complete honor. It's been the right choice for me.
We see a lot of these hybrid positions taking over in the NFL where the stereotypical players from the past, you no longer have to be a certain size or have a certain speed to play a certain position. Do you think your history at safety has helped you transition to linebacker and has given you any advantages?
It definitely has. The game in the NFL is based off speed now. It's all speed. So being a smaller linebacker really hasn't hurt me too much, and being able to play those pass coverages and play man on slots and on backs, has really helped me out.
Josh Keyes, Chatham High School graduate, Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker, signed to the practice squad. Josh, best of luck. Thanks for joining us. A lot of people here in the Capital Region have been asking us about you. We've been getting a lot of emails, people wanting to know what is up with you and really interested in following your career. So just know you have a lot of support here back home. We wish you the best. We want you to stay healthy, and hopefully we'll see you on the active roster here for Tampa Bay real soon. Thanks a lot.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Josh Keyes with us, Capital Region Sports Saturday, hosted by Brady Farkas here, 104.5 The Team, 104.5theteam.com. Buccaneers take on the Saints tomorrow. What a great story that is. Josh Keyes comes from Chatham, comes from out of the Patroon Conference here of Section 2, goes to Boston College, changes positions midway through his career, and finds himself in the NFL. And I can only imagine what the waiting game is like between being cut on Friday and re-signed on Sunday. Josh Keyes, again, thanks for joining us here. Josh, guys, we mentioned not the only local player in the NFL. Well, one of the big ones is Dion Lewis from Albany Academy, and he figures to have a big role tomorrow as the Patriots take on the Bills in what should be maybe the best matchup on the NFL schedule tomorrow. Weird to say that, I know, to think that the Bills might be involved in the best matchup, but this is a different Bills team, and Dion Lewis for the Patriots went off in week 1, 69 yards rushing against the Steelers in a season-opening win for the Pats against Pittsburgh, added 51 yards receiving. The real question going into tomorrow is just how much is Dion Lewis going to play? Because LeGarrette Blount was suspended for week 1. He's back tomorrow now, so how much is he going to figure? How much is Blount going to figure into the game plan after being re-implemented to the roster? And what's the effect of that going to be on Lewis? Rex Ryan has already said, and look, Rex Ryan is Rex Ryan, kind of take it whatever he says tongue-in-cheek, but he says that he doesn't even know Lewis's name, and he's not planning for Lewis. Number one, he's planning for Tom Brady, and he said, number two, they're just going to stick Blount back there. It'll be really, really interesting to see how Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels use Dion Lewis, the Albany Academy native, in their game plan. And I think that Lewis is still going to play. I don't think Bill Belichick is the type to just re-implement Blount lock, stock, and barrel, because when you're in Bill Belichick's doghouse, you're in the doghouse. And Blount misses game 1. I don't see Blount coming out and getting 28 carries here right away in week 2 in his first action of the year. I think Lewis is still going to figure prominently into the run game. I think he's going to figure prominently into the pass game. Look, remember, he was brought in to take over that Shane Vereen role. Shane Vereen had 11 receptions in the Super Bowl when the Patriots beat the Seahawks. That's a running back with 11 catches in a Super Bowl. And he goes and bowls to the Giants. So Lewis comes in, makes the roster, fights through everything in training camp to get on the active roster. That is still his main job. So whether he's running the ball 15 times like he did last week or not, he's still going to figure prominently in the game plan. Rex Ryan says he's not planning for Dion Lewis. I think even though the Bills' defense is very, very good and very, very stout, I think you need to be worried about the Albany Academy native coming out of the backfield as both a runner and a pass catcher. Tom Brady loves to dink and dunk, and certainly he's got the ability to go long, but he loves to just slice and dice a defense in the middle of the field, out of the flat, and that's where Dion Lewis really, really excels, and that's where he's going to be a big threat to the Bills, and I think that Rex Ryan is being a little bit short-sighted to say he doesn't even know who Dion Lewis is. Brady Farkas here with you. Capital Region Sports Saturday brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. Speaking of Dion Lewis and Albany Academy 20-7 wins yesterday over Cobleskill. Andrew Martin, another in the long line of cadet running backs, had 130 yards in the win. Another top performer from last night was Queensberry's Brett Rodriguez. Brett Rodriguez, 181 yards rushing, had 4 total touchdowns as Queensberry topped Gloversville. Again, this show is brought to you by Mohawk Honda, and Mohawk Honda goes out of their way to please you by striving for perfection every day. They try to do things right all the time for their entire family of customers. 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles available to select from. They're open extended hours in all of their departments to better service you. You can shop over 10 acres of savings opportunities in person or online 24/7 at MohawkHonda.com. They'll provide you the lowest, no-hassle prices to suit your budget. And bottom line, look, a business can have all of this, but without providing the customer with the professional service that they've always been looking for and deserve, nothing else really matters. At Mohawk Honda, they have 180 trained automotive experts going above and beyond to make sure all your needs are met. You can ask about their Mohawk Exchange program, and you can find out about how to get assistance in upgrading your current vehicle to a newer one with no money down for the same or lower payment. Please ask for Tiffany, Katie, or V-Day to see just how easy it is to exchange your vehicle for the same amount or lower. If new isn't for you, there's 300 of the highest quality pre-owned vehicles all at one low, below market value, no hassle price. Being number one isn't easy, but at Mohawk Honda, they go out of their way to please you. So shop at their convenient Route 50 in Glenville location to join the number one automotive family at Mohawk Honda. We told you, Albany football set to take on James Madison this afternoon, 3 p.m. down in Virginia. What do the Danes need to do to pull the upset? Football broadcaster Zach Bye joins us next.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday with Brady Farkas, sponsored by Mohawk Honda.
Capital Region Sports Saturday, Brady Farkas. This show brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your number one volume dealer in the Capital Region. We've got only one more segment left this hour of this first show. The maiden voyage of Capital Region Sports Saturday has flown by. Again, we do this every Saturday, 9 to 10 a.m., talking all things local sports. On tap for today, Albany, the Great Danes football program, traveling to James Madison to take on the Dukes. Look, they're one of the best programs in FCS. This is the level that Greg Gattuso for the Danes, the head coach, is trying to get Albany to. We heard from DJ Crook earlier in the show, the Albany quarterback, the transfer in from Penn State. I think he's the guy that can help Albany get to the level that they want. He's been around a top-flight defense when he played at Penn State. He learned from Christian Hackenberg on the field and in the film room. And Christian Hackenberg, if you didn't know, you're going to hear that name a lot over the next 6 months because he could be the best quarterback in the NCAA, and he's been projected to be the number one pick in the draft. You cannot realize how valuable that experience is for DJ Crook, and therefore, in turn, how valuable it is for the Danes. Albany goes out on opening week. They play Buffalo, the first time they ever played an FBS opponent. They score first in that game. Now, they end up getting blown out by the Bulls, but that's not really the important thing. The important thing is that Greg Gattuso has the ability and the foresight to get the Danes out there, to get them that exposure, to take them to a rough and tumble Division I program, and that helps you in your own conference. You're taking on James Madison today. And now you have the experience of playing on the road in a hostile environment in front of a big crowd on their opening day against Buffalo. And that should help Albany. I'm not saying Albany's going to win this game against James Madison, who's one of the best teams in FCS. James Madison has put out 14 NFL players, including former Bill and current Steeler Arthur Moats. So Albany has a long way to go to get to James Madison's level. But the Danes put out a good showing in their opener against Buffalo. Then they put out a great showing last week against Rhode Island, winning that game 35-7. We're bringing on Zach Bye, Albany football broadcaster. You heard some of his clips earlier in the show on Hoop. Well, now he's with us live talking about Albany football. And Zach, the Danes, we mentioned when we spoke to DJ Crook, they come out and last week they run it and pass it almost the same exact number of plays. They throw for 200 yards. They rush for 165 yards. How important is that balance to the Danes this afternoon against James Madison?
I think it's pretty important, especially when you step into conference play and the scouting goes just absolutely through the roof. You know, you play a couple of games and you have some success, and then the defense is fully aware of what's going on due to the diligence of the coaches during the week, at this level and really at any level of college football. But I think it's very important, and especially you talk about the run game. You're replacing Omar Osborne, who Albany lost due to graduation, who's a top 3 running back in school history pretty much. And you got these couple of freshmen in there who are carrying the football for the first time in their college careers. You got the Elijah Ebitoken-Hanks, who was the CAA Rookie of the Week 2 weeks ago after his performance against Buffalo. And then you have Elliot Krosky come out and register 2 touchdowns, 150 yards rushing. He gets CAA Rookie of the Week. And they're showing signs of promise there. I mean, that's pretty uncommon to put back-to-back Rookie of the Week at the same position from the same school. So I think that's big. And if they can fuse that together with a consistent DJ Crook at the quarterback position, who transferred in from Penn State, he's providing a steady hand at that spot. What you'll get with success from both those positions is just an opportunity to win football games. It's not going to guarantee you anything in that league because I think Albany's still outmatched against the superior opponents in that league, like James Madison, like Villanova, and schools of that nature, New Hampshire. But the fact of the matter is, if you can get consistent play from those two spots and the balance that you just referred to, you're going to give yourself a chance.
The Danes traveled to James Madison. What do they need to do against the Dukes here to pull what many would think would be a big upset?
Well, it would be a big upset. First of all, James Madison is a tremendous football team and plays at a level, nationally across the board that Albany is hoping to get to in the next 2 or 3 years. They play in front of 25,000 people. They have a quarterback who started a full season and a half at Georgia Tech, Vad Lee, who decided to transfer to JMU for his last 2 years. And you asked me, what they need to do. You cannot let Vad Lee go out and be an All-American like he is. And if he goes out and throws for 250 yards and another 120 yards with his legs, like he is very capable of doing, and when I say very capable, it's almost the expectation from him at this point. He's that good. Then Albany's going to be on the wrong end of a lopsided loss. After the first 2 games of the season, James Madison is outscoring their opponents 111-24. So, this is a tall task. That place is going to be jumping with 25,000 people, and no doubt who are going to be fired up to see the Dukes, kick in the heads of Albany. But the fact is, if they can limit that quarterback badly and get the run game going and control the pace of the game and do a respectable job on the defensive side of football, they could be in the game.
It's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. On the phone with Albany football broadcaster Zach By, getting you ready for the Danes and James Madison this afternoon, 3 p.m. down in Virginia. Zach, thanks for being with us. Enjoy the game, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on, man. Look forward to the next time.
Absolutely. Zach, thanks a lot for being with us once more. Danes against James Madison in the CAA. The Danes want to know in the CAA after beating Rhode Island last week. I think Zach nailed it right on the head. The keys for Albany, number one, on offense, they have to be balanced. They cannot get down early and be forced into pass. They're not built that way. When you're trying to build a program up, generally you're going to start by being able to move the ball consistently, and that's what the Danes need to do, and they need to do it on the ground. And if they can move it on the ground against James Madison, well, then that's going to open up the air game for DJ Crook, where you can go out and hit a Josh Gontarek, who's his big play guy at wide receiver. So Elliot Krosky and from CBA, the freshman, and the rest of the running backs for UA, they're really going to have to attack the teeth of that defense. And then on defense for Albany, again, Vad Lee, unbelievable player. Look, again, started for a year and a half at Georgia Tech. You're talking about a guy who's played in the ACC and has played well. He runs it well. He can run the option just like they did at Georgia Tech. You watch Georgia Tech run that triple option every Saturday. So he's got great speed, great ability to get to the edge and get outside. If you key on that, he'll beat you with his arms. Zach laid it out 111-24 through 2 games for James Madison on their opponents. Albany, again, keep it close. If you can keep it close, maybe you get James Madison on their heels. If you can control time of possession, maybe you get James Madison on their heels. So that's all something that the Danes need to try to do. It's Capital Region Sports Saturday. Brady Farkas, your host of the show, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. Again, every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. here at 104.5 The Team and 104.5theteam.com. High school football, one more look back at last night. The top performer of the night, Damani Soares from Troy, 279 yards on 20-plus carries and 2 touchdowns as Troy upends Amsterdam 26-21. And they needed every bit of those yards and touchdowns because Troy had a 26-0 lead in that game and was just barely able to hold on. A duo of running backs had a great night last night, but still not up to the level of Soares. Hoosick Falls running backs Alexis Mendez and Noah Labarge combined for 250 yards in a big win over Lake George. That game was 27-20 in favor of Hoosick Falls. So coming up today, high school football not done for the week. Ballston Spa takes on Albany as the Scotties look to take down the Falcons, who are still looking for their first win in the Joey DiPiazza era, his first season at Albany High. He looks to turn that program around. Fonda takes on Stillwater, a matchup of undefeated teams. Stillwater 2-0, Fonda 1-0. Head coach Tom Carpenter spoke with me earlier in the week about what Fonda needs to do in this game.
Well, I think we're excited to be playing at home, so I think that's a good thing. And I just think we got to, when we come off the hill, we got to be fired up and we got to execute the same old thing, blocking and tackling. We got to execute and hang on to the football and hopefully get some takeaways.
Fonda looking for those takeaways against Stillwater. Again, that was head coach Tom Carpenter, who spoke with me earlier on the keys to the game. He also spoke on what challenges Stillwater presents.
Well, they're very well coached. Coach Barber does a great job with him and his staff, and they're fundamentally sound. They'll mix it up on offense, and they like to blitz a little bit on defense. So they're a good team. It's a big challenge for us.
Fonda looking to move to 2-0 when they take on already 2-0 Stillwater in that matchup. So high school football on deck today. Albany football on deck today. RPI's in action. They're at home. Union in action as well. So a full slate of high school and college action on the gridiron. On the hardwood, the Garf Coaching Clinic at Shenendehowa. Basketball is there in town. Is Jim Calhoun, Jay Wright, Tom Thibodeau, Mitch Bonagero, and Sean Miller, the head coach at Arizona. So that's an unbelievable event taking place in the Capital Region. Coaches from all over the area will be there to learn about coaching the game at the collegiate professional level. And you've got some of the best guys in basketball there to teach them how to do it. So that's going on in the Capital Region. If you missed any interviews on this show, any interviews from the show, whether it was Josh Kies, DJ Cook, JP Sportman, all those are available online on our podcast, youtube.com/team1045. Again, every week we're doing this show, 9 to 10 a.m. It's Capital Region Sports Saturday, brought to you by Mohawk Honda, your #1 volume dealer in the Capital Region. I'm your host, Brady Farkas. Tune back in on Monday, Armin Levac, 3 to 7, right here, your home for New York sports, 1045, The Team.